Hey everyone, I'm Sen, and you're listening to Sen's podcast. So, we've officially stepped into the new year, 2023, a year we've all been looking forward to, right? I wish all the best, happiest, warmest, and most fortunate things upon everyone listening to today's podcast. And I truly believe that our efforts will always be rewarded, as long as we never stop trying, never stop striving. With each passing day, things will get better, bringing new opportunities. No matter how many times we've failed, there will always be reasons to keep going. This end-of-year period is always filled with so many emotions, especially related to family reunions. Soon we'll have Tet, our Lunar New Year holiday, right? How are you all preparing to go back to your hometowns for Tet? I bought my tickets quite a while ago, and this time, I'll only be home for a week. As for why, I'll probably share that with you later. Today, I'm completely obsessed with a song. Obsessed because it's so good, it has such a beautiful melody, and it's inspired me to make a few related podcasts. Actually, it just comes from my own desires. This song is Năm Ngoái Giờ Này, This Time Last Year by Phùng Khánh Linh, everyone. She's a truly talented young singer, in my opinion. Perhaps her music hasn't really gone viral in Vietnam yet because she follows a style that's quite new here. People in Vietnam still tend to prefer pop ballads and such. For example, Năm Ngoái Giờ Này has a city pop vibe. When you listen to it, it feels so lively, like a vibrant, rhythmic beat, but the lyrics are actually a bit sad. I'll sing a short snippet for you without any backing track, okay? Let me pull up the lyrics first because I don't remember them by heart. Singing. If it were this time last year, you'd be standing there waiting for my plane to land at the airport. If it were this time last year, I'd appear radiantly, embracing you tightly at the airport. After months of long-distance love, every day entwined, a budding romance. Why am I restless, not going home to our familiar place? After months of long-distance love, two hearts entwined, blooming one by one. I vowed to give my sincere heart, never knowing you'd deceive me. Just a snippet to give you a feel for the song's melody. The story is about two people in a long-distance relationship, and if it were this time last year, he would have been waiting for her at the airport, meaning they would have met. Two people in a long-distance relationship finally reuniting. So the story I want to share with you today is about the feeling of having someone pick you up at the airport. It's truly wonderful, everyone. I don't know, but when I record podcasts, I always want them to carry some meaning. And I especially love listening to relevant podcasts when I'm flying or driving. Perhaps that's why the idea of recording a podcast about airports came about. Who knows, maybe one day you'll hear Sen's podcast on an airplane. You never know. Actually, I've recently received some invitations for collaborations to broadcast Sen's podcast on planes, even international flights. I feel like it's an amazing opportunity to hear my own podcast on a plane. If the collaboration succeeds, I'll definitely let you all know later. Let me tell you a story, a very interesting love story. It's a long-distance relationship, but in a truly unique way. I've never encountered a relationship so complicated yet so deep. A few years ago, my older sister was studying for her master's in Korea. After that, she met a Chinese guy, and they're still together to this day. The interesting thing is, guess what? She's Vietnamese living in Korea. He's Chinese living in Japan. They met through a game. It's actually hilarious that each of them was in a different country, not like she was in Vietnam and he was in China. It was such a unique and challenging situation, right during the pandemic. They dated for a very long time, and I think by the time they first met in person, they had already been together for about a year without ever meeting offline. And guess where their first meeting was? In Thailand. Sounds a bit complicated, doesn't it? But Thailand is a country with the most open visa policies. You don't even need a visa. They could just fly to Thailand and meet. Because if she wanted to go to Vietnam, applying for a visa would be difficult. And so, they continued their long-distance relationship, meeting whenever they could arrange it, and they've remained strong to this day. What made me mention them recently? During Christmas, she flew from Vietnam to Japan to spend Christmas with her boyfriend, as she had moved back to Vietnam about a year ago. The image she captured and posted of him picking her up at the airport was incredibly sweet. And honestly, I really love that feeling, everyone. I don't know if you do too, but I've always cherished that feeling, the feeling of having someone waiting for you at the airport. Of course, sometimes it can be a bit inconvenient, right? Because everything is so modern now, we have cars and drivers wherever we go. As long as we have money, almost everything is easy. But me, I genuinely still prefer the feeling of someone picking me up at the airport. I fly a lot every year. Of course, I don't expect someone to pick me up for every single flight, but it would be so much nicer if someone did. Usually, for domestic or international flights, I always arrange for someone to pick me up. Whenever I fly for business from Ho Chi Minh City to Hanoi, I always pre-book a car. I just need to book it and give them my flight number, and they'll be waiting for me when I land at the airport. It sounds very romantic, but no, he's just a taxi driver, not some special guy who's going to embrace me warmly like in the song. I'd appear radiantly, embracing you tightly at the airport. What matters is that feeling, everyone, not just having someone drive you. Having someone drive you is normal, especially when you stay at luxury hotels. They'll often pick you up at the airport. With money, we don't have to worry about such things. But the thing is, there are some things money can't buy, and that's, I'd appear radiantly, embracing you tightly at the airport. I think some guys also love this feeling, waiting anxiously for their beloved to arrive, wondering if she's landed safely. When they see her step out safely, they just want to run up and embrace her. Isn't that beautiful? I've never been a fan of long-distance relationships because I'm someone who loves proximity. I love hugging, I love gazing, and I love having two people present when it matters most. When you're far apart, everything becomes much harder. So, in the past, whenever someone suddenly appeared, showing interest and love, but I sensed that we would soon be separated and unable to be close, I would end the relationship quickly to spare us both more heartache. But I see so many people in long-distance relationships who are happy, and I'm truly glad for them. I feel that some people always look out for each other and think of each other, no matter how great the geographical distance. I remember once when I flew from Ho Chi Minh City back to my hometown, I really wished someone would pick me up. I think it was for Tet. It was my first Tet flying home from Saigon, so I wasn't used to taking a taxi or bus back. I wasn't comfortable with that feeling. I was a little scared and a bit lost. I felt like, oh, if only someone would come pick me up. But of course, there was no one. My home is 50 kilometers from the airport, not close at all, and everyone was busy. Who would be free? But still, I love having someone pick me up at the airport, waiting for me there and holding me close. I love that. It seems like I'm making this podcast just to say I love that, don't I? I don't know if it brings any meaning to you all, but I genuinely love that feeling, the feeling of being embraced, protected, and loved. I once read an article and I completely agreed with it. The article talked about airport pickups. Do you want someone to pick you up at the airport? It wasn't necessarily about a lover. Sometimes it's a friend returning home from far away or visiting friends from another place. When we arrive at the airport, we usually just take a taxi or a rideshare home ourselves, which is convenient, right? Because they're readily available and there's no need to worry. Of course, if in the future I plan to live permanently in Ho Chi Minh City, buying a car would be obvious because it offers independence. Right now, I don't have a car, so sometimes when family or friends visit, the most convenient way for them is to take a taxi home. But I'm sure that once I have my own car, I'll go pick them up. I'll want to go directly there and bring them home. This brings up another point about material things, doesn't it? Suddenly, material things seem so important. Anyway, having a car is convenient for driving, picking people up, and everything. It's so convenient. If I'm coming from my hometown, 50 kilometers from the airport, for example, being driven in a car is something I really enjoy. It feels more personal and comfortable. Although I know there's a lot of public transportation available now, I still can't hide the fact that I really love having someone pick me up at the airport. And what's the feeling like when we're on our way? The person flying is eagerly anticipating, and the person going to pick them up is also eagerly anticipating. In reality, sometimes we don't even need to own a car. We can just take ourselves there, especially for a long-distance lover we haven't seen in ages. We can just bring ourselves there, and then both of us can take a car home together. But the important thing is standing there, waiting for each other at the airport. Throughout the journey in the car, we'll be thinking about that person so much. That boundless longing creates a whole new emotion for love, everyone. And I also love the feeling of a surprise, like suddenly appearing at the airport without warning, holding a bouquet of flowers. Oh my, am I being too dreamy? If I'm going to dream, I'll dream big. I'll pretend to make a phone call. I'll imagine my boyfriend picking me up at the airport. Where should I go? Okay, my boyfriend will pick me up at the airport. I'll fly to the US. My boyfriend is in the US and he'll come to pick me up at the airport. I'll call him now. Dialing sounds. Hello, darling, I'm at the airport already. Oh, wait. Hello, darling, I'm at the airport about to fly. Yeah, I'll land around 10 a.m. No, you don't have to. I can just take a taxi. You want to pick me up? Oh, that's wonderful. I love it so much. I've always loved having someone pick me up at the airport, and if it's you, I'll love it even more. Just arrange your time. We'll meet there later, okay? Don't miss me too much, okay? Oh my, why am I so dreamy? But seriously, I love the feeling of those phone calls, everyone. That's why I often imagine those conversations. If you and your loved one are far apart, right, you'd call each other, give instructions, chat, and so on. And imagine the feeling when you're on the road, driving, and she sends you a voice message saying, "Drive safely, darling, I'll be waiting for you." Oh, my heart would flutter, it would flutter so much. Or when she's already landed, she calls and says, "I'm here waiting for you. Come out and you'll see me." Oh my gosh, that feeling is amazing, everyone. I don't know, but I just want to say that we should always cherish the time we can spend together. Even now, I still find Thich Nhat Hanh's saying incredibly profound. When you love someone, the greatest gift you can give them is your true presence. It's being fully present in that moment. Here, we're not talking about someone carrying our luggage or doing things for us, but their actual presence. Having them there, embracing each other, that feeling is pure happiness. Everything else is secondary. We can always pay for a taxi, someone to handle our luggage and get us home. But the presence of the one you love, how wonderful that feeling is, everyone. In life, sometimes as time goes by, we get used to treating each other very casually, and we forget the value of presence. Many times, a wife goes away for work or travels far, returning home very late, flying a red-eye flight, perhaps arriving in the city at midnight. At that moment, if the husband appears to pick her up and bring her home, that's truly a wonderful thing. It shows he cares deeply and is worried. I also want to share a story about my brother and sister-in-law's relationship. I really admire this about my brother. He always makes sure to take care of his wife. My sister-in-law doesn't fly often. This one time, she was returning to her hometown, her paternal hometown, alone. My brother is a soldier, so he was on duty and couldn't go with her. My sister-in-law was traveling by bus from Haiphong to Ha Tin. My brother, who was still on duty at the military base, got permission to leave just to drive his wife to the bus station. And when she arrived back in Haiphong from Ha Tin, it was around 3 or 4 a.m., and he also went out to pick her up because he wouldn't feel at ease letting her travel alone. Always being present when you're needed, that's truly wonderful, everyone. Ultimately, in our lives, we don't need to be someone everyone likes or someone many people are crazy about. We just need one person, everyone, someone who truly loves us, worries about us, and genuinely cherishes and is always there for us. That's what's truly wonderful, isn't it? I truly hope all of you will have beautiful love stories and wonderful relationships in your lives. Besides romantic love, other relationships like family also need to be cherished to the fullest. Be there for them, be present when they need you. Give each other the most wonderful things, simply by being present in that moment. Thank you all so much. One day, when I have a guy waiting for me at the airport, I'll probably make another podcast. What will the topic be? I'll be curious to find out, but at that time, I'll definitely share my feelings. Thank you all so much for listening to today's podcast. Even though it's a bit silly, isn't it? I don't even know why I recorded this one, but I think it's kind of cute. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.